So good evening. Let's start with the second part of the program, which I called the 17 enemies to your health. And tonight you will learn, actually, there will be 18. And as usual, maybe a bit boring for you, but I always come back to my theme that mankind is extinct because they believe the laws of nature were not valid for them. We are so damn arrogant. We think everything we can finance, we should do. And everything we can manufacture, we should do. Without asking about, does it make sense? And is it healthy? Is it for the true benefit, for the greater goods? There's so many products out there, so many information which are not healthy. And we're about to extinct ourselves from this planet if we keep doing what we're doing wrong. And a lot of things are wrong. Okay, please keep this in mind. Yes. Now we continue then with the first show, we had the 7 enemies. Now we continue today with enemy number 8. Now, before I start, again, these 17 enemies, it's like a bullet list for you. I want you to be aware that at least, maybe there are more, there are 17 basic enemies everybody may have. And you may be aware, you should be aware of the enemies. You can only defend yourself if you know who your enemies are. That you're aware of them. And many of you are not aware of them, of some of them or at least not. So I like to create the awareness that you know who are my enemies in my health. And years ago, that list would have been much smaller. But over the years, it became bigger for, unfortunately, good reasons. So it's a bullet list. Not every subject I'm introducing to, I can fully cover today. Some subjects are too lengthy. So what I do is, some of these subjects already have their own show, which I've done, you can see on my webinar page. On my webinar page is the archive of all past shows. And every show like this one will eventually be posted on the webinar archive. It takes typically 1-2 weeks after we've done the show, and you can always watch them. But these topics I'm giving you today are not complete in their subject. It's, for me, meant as a bullet list, that you are aware and start looking for it and start analyzing your life and start observing and just judging. Is that a point which is valid for my life and my problems? Okay. All right. Good. So far, so good. So enemy number 8 is on now. That's poor nutrition. And I think that's one of these major valid points, of course, poor nutrition. There are experts out there who can talk about nutrition till the cows come home for hours and days and weeks. Let me come to the basics of this. I want to come to the basics of this. There's so much has been said about nutrition. One thing I refuse, the idea that every person is the same. So not everybody has the same needs for certain nutritions. Some have deficiencies here, some have deficiencies there. You may have deficiency, give an example, in vitamin A, and your wife may have a deficiency in vitamin B, but you have deficiencies, for example, in vitamins, which is for most of us the case. So there's some generalization, yes, but then every person is different. Remember, please, when I talk to people, oh yeah, I eat healthy food, I go to the organic food store. Please keep in mind, not everything in the organic food store is healthy, by far not. You got to look at the labels. There's a lot of crap. And not everything on Wikipedia is true, and not everything a doctor says makes sense. So be aware of that. Be more critical. The biggest enemy in food is, of course, the food industry. The food industry does incredible things to get your business. One of them is to incorporate in the food lot of products which shouldn't be there. They just should not be in the food. We have to make a special separate show on this theme, okay? But the quick ones, the big one is the food industry who is taking full advantage of you. And why do they take full advantage of you? Because the second biggest enemy in nutrition is you yourself. Because we are all too lazy to prepare food like we used to. We like to have fast food, easy, open the bag, heat it up and eat it. And the time when in a household people really made food from scratch is very little, unfortunately. We're all too busy. We're all on the fly. So we are all enemy here because we like to have it easy, fast food. Easy and fast food. And with fast food comes compromise in quality, comes toxic materials, comes poison, comes plastics, comes chemicals, and what have you. Now, when you look at advertising in food, 99% of all the food they advertise, or products which go, not only food, but products which you take into your mouth, 99% of these products are counter-survival bad products. Cigarettes, alcohol, sugar products, sweets, French fries, pizza, fast food, candy, pharmaceutical products. These are all counter-survival, and coffee. I will do a show separately why I say coffee and sugar are the biggest legal drugs in the world. They're drugs. There's no question for me. And I will explain to you in a separate show why coffee and sugar are the biggest drugs in the world. All right. Now, these products are advertised heavily because the industry knows once you get started with them, you're hooked. You're a customer for life with these products. And you're asking yourself, why do I become sick? Well, that's one very possible reason, an enemy to your health. You have to understand that a craving for a food is always, and I say this very straightforward, a craving for a food is always a clear indicator that this food is counter-survival for you. You should not eat it. We'll talk later about toxics and other themes on the show where we step into this again. But the craving it is basically a drug, okay? Of course, you have a craving for coffee. That's not as toxic as a craving for heroin, but they both work the same ways. You are depending on them in a different gradient, different toxicity, but same bad drug addicted. It's an addiction. Every time you have a craving for something and you cannot freely decide no, it's an addiction, and that is bad. When I was a few years younger, when I finally started to go into alternative medicine, which is 40 years ago, I was on the verge to die. I had a high food intolerance combined with a high toxic level of wood treatment chemicals. I was owning a farmhouse from the 18th century, and we were stupid enough to treat the wood with wood treatments to avoid bugs and bugs and whatever, which we thought that was the right thing to do. Stupid us. It was not the right thing to do. So I had these two combinations of these toxic treatments, wood treatments in my body inhaled, and I had a very high food intolerance, and I was on the verge to die. I will talk about this in another show. It's a very interesting thing I did there. So it's food. Of course, the higher the quality of the food is, the healthier is the person. There's no question. Even in a health food store, if not everything is 100% better than plastic chemicals in the supermarket. No question about it. But unfortunately, you can hardly do any food without supplements, taking minerals, trace elements, enzymes, real vitamins. Be careful. The average vitamins you buy out there are no real vitamins. Vitamin C, the real vitamin C, is very expensive. So most people will not buy it. They buy some cheap stuff. You need 90 nutrients per day, 60 minerals, 30 vitamins per day. And we don't have this anymore in our foods. Sorry, we don't have it. Essential fatty acid, we don't have it. Probiotics are needed, but life cultures probiotics, not just tablets, that doesn't fly. And we need much more magnesium that we usually take in. So these are some thoughts about food. You have to think about food again. Now, most of the foods nowadays have chemicals in the food and poisoning materials. This is why I created a product called ST2 Food Protect. The ST2 Food Protect, what does it do? If you put it in your kitchen, for example, once you come home from shopping, as soon as you reach a 10-meter radius of 30 feet to this product, which I encourage you just to put in the kitchen anywhere, as soon as you reach 30 feet, all the negative frequencies in the food and beverages are nullified and have no more negative effect. And if you have it in your kitchen and you have products in the deep freezer or the fridge, they are covered as well, because this product works on quantum physics, and quantum physics knows no time, no place, no walls, and it works all over the place. It doesn't matter. Now, of course, that's a bold statement. I understand that. I completely understand that. And this is why I had it tested by the Beza Institute in Austria. This is what it looks like. I have it on my keychain. So when I go out, leave the house, go to a restaurant, and I order my food, they bring the food, and I know it has, whatever it is in the food, it has no more negative effect on me, on my body, right? So I know that. Now you say, well, this is a bold statement. Yes, it is. But like all my products, I had them qualified by the Beza Institute in Austria. And this product here about the food, believe it or not, the Beza Institute wrote more than 300 pages of certifications where they made tests left and right with all kinds of food. They even went so far, they tested what you call healthy bio butter which is supposedly very healthy, and you see how much it failed. And you can see, of course, at the end of the day, the certificate they gave me for this product and other products, where they certified that they tested it and the product does what I say it does. Because I don't need one of people believe me. Some trust me, some don't. I don't care. This is why I like if people trust me. But to give them assurance, there's so much false data in this world and so much betrayal and lying about products, so that I decided to have them tested. And you can find all those tests on my website to check them through and read them. And I have a total of 1,800, I believe. 1,800, I stopped counting them. 1,800 pages of certifications. So you can look it up and then read them if you're interested in, to make sure to do this. Now, food. So it's not enough if you buy good food. Even the best food will have particles in it which are poisoning. Food coloring, taste enhancers, whatever it is. Make sure that the food you take has a high quality, very balanced in nutrition, that you take supplements, because we don't have all the products we need. The earth is depleted. The water is dead, typically out there. The air is poor in quality. So what you got to do, how you defend yourself against this enemy, number 9. Be aware of poor nutrition. Buy food quality, true food quality. Look after your personal intolerance of food. Everybody has more or less some intolerances of food they cannot digest. With kinesiology, if you have a good kinesiologist, a good one, he can test, which I did in the past, 40 years ago, I started to test people and their food intolerance. And I learned a lot by testing people what food they can intake and what not. It comes down a lot to your lifestyle. You got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you act. You got to put more self-discipline. It's hard. Frankly, to live healthy is hard. It's work. If you keep doing what you're doing, it will not happen. It will not happen. All right? Very good. That was our enemy number 8. Now comes our enemy to our health number 9. And this is, for some of you, maybe a very surprising thought. Very surprising thought. Lack of daylight. Yes. We are mostly nowadays, unfortunately, I call it living in a fridge. We live in the house, in an office, in the company, in our house inside. We live too much inside. We don't get enough daylight. When I was younger, when I was a child, forget it. I mean, we were outside all the time playing around, or with my parents sitting on the patio and having lunch or dinner, or a walk in the park and a walk on the street, a walk up the hill and down the mountain. We are not enough exposed to daylight. And the daylight has many different qualities. The daylight has a spectrum, and the human body needs an entire spectrum, not just one light frequency. And the daylight is needed to your body, and you should expose yourself. At least, give your number. As a white-colored person, 20, 30 minutes a day out in the sunshine, as with little clothes as possible without getting locked up in jail, because we need this light. Not only do we need it to produce vitamin D, which of course sometimes doesn't happen, because most people, as soon as there's a bit of a daylight, they immediately go and put the sunglasses on, which blocks again that the sunlight can produce vitamin D through our eyes. Then we have something which a lot of people are not aware of. We have, then on top of that, not enough daylight, we have poor lighting in our house. The bulbs we're using are all majority bad for the body. All these halogen lights, which are very fancy, very sexy, very interesting, very easy, very nice light effects, these produce frequencies which are bad for your health. All these kinds of halogen lights are bad for you. All of them. They're bad for you. Practical, but bad. These neon tubes we have a lot in offices, even in doctor practices, are bad. I show doctors who have no idea what they're doing. Sorry, the majority of doctors, the vast majority, has no idea what they're doing. I'll make tests with them. I'll make a kinesiology test on the doctor. So you want to find out? I'll show you. We switch off the light in the office. I test them in kinesiology. They test strong. I then switch on the light, and immediately they test bad. Imagine, and this doctor is now giving you a treatment in his practice. I mean, we live in a perverted world. Come on. We live in a perverted world. The doctors are ridiculous. 95%, in my opinion, are ridiculous. They're just a shame, right? So what can you do with the lights in the house? Well, there's a good factor. The only light, to my findings, to my humble opinion, which does not affect your body, is the traditional incandescent bulb. Yes, that's the only bulb, to my definition and findings, which does not hurt the human body. And the fun part is, perverted fun, is that you have a problem nowadays to find this bulb in the store. Yes, you have a problem. Like this one, 75 watts. In building stores, I'll find them 20, 30, 40 watts maximum, if I'll find them. They kind of vanish in the shelves. And I had to buy them online to get them in the quantity and intensity level I wanted to have. So that's the only healthy bulb. And I want you to be aware of that. That's just a fact. Okay? So this is my part about light. We don't have enough daylight. And the light in the house is typically bad. Absolutely bad. Well, what's the solution to defend yourself? Go out in the daylight regularly and try to reinstall the bulbs. I know some of you would cry to leave this beautiful effect of the halogen light go, put it in the waste and get the right lights. But that's the way it works. All right. Which leads us now to enemy to your health number 10. We are all too acidic. We are all too acidic. And, you know, I'm a medical doctor. I cannot give you medical advice. But whenever I'm called as what I call, I'm a life coach. I'm called to people to look after them and to give them advice. And I can clearly say that I never met a person who is seriously sick who was not too acidic. And we know, for example, it's known, even in the regular medical world, that cancer thrives on acidic background in your body. And we have we're too acidic for 2-3 reasons. One is we eat, in comparison, too much meat, which is very acidic. Of people who eat meat, too much meat is too acidic. And the majority of drinks we drink, you see in a minute, are all too acidic. And we'll look at that, what that means. The regular pH scale looks a bit like this. You have in the central 7, on the left side, the acidic levels, on the right side, the alkaline level. Now, I hardly met ever a person who is too alkaline. The reasons you see in a minute. Now, they say neutral is 7. For me, it's not 7. It's 7.34 or 7.38. So I round it up. For me, neutral is 7.5. And whether it's 7.5, 7.3, 7.2, 7, that doesn't matter. If you're around there, you're in a good hands. And that means, like you look at the 7 here, it's the balance between alkaline and acidic. And of course, that changes throughout the day in your body. The acidic level in your body changes naturally. And in your intestines, especially when you eat meat, certain foods need a lot of acidity to be digested, okay? That's just the way it is. Here's again that scale. I just show the acidic part. You see 7.5 neutral. Now, you go to the left side, you go down in acidity, and I'll show you on another scale here, which is better to understand. So if you drink water, which is 7.5, which is considered neutral, and I drink water, which is 6.5, which is just one number difference, that 6.5 means the water I drink is 10 times too acidic. It's a logarithmic scale, which means from 7.5 to 6.5 is a 1, but logarithmic scale, this is 10. Now, if my wife drinks then water with 5.5, that's 100 times too acidic. 100 times too acidic is a logarithmic scale. So 4.5 is 1,000 times too acidic, 3.5, 10,000 times, 2.5 is 100,000 times too acidic. Now you would say, who in hell would drink something which is 100,000 times too acidic? Well, everybody who drinks Coke and similar drinks is 100,000 times too acidic. All right? That's the way it is. And you are surprised that people get sick in this world. Every third person is dying of cancer, which to my opinion has a few specific reasons. One reason is your mental stage. One reason is the exposure to electromagnetic radiation, 4G and now 5G. And one is the quality of water. And one is too acidic. These are, for me, the four main reasons for somebody to develop cancer. Nowadays, every third person dies of cancer. That wasn't the case 50 years ago, but it's now. Now, the other day, well, some years ago, I was more interested to find out. So I bought a bunch of drinks and I had them all tested. And I made this list here, which of course you can hardly read now on the computer. And I'll show it to you. In this list, I'll show it to you. You can download on my website. Go to my website, download that list, print it out, and put it with a magnet on the outside of your fridge, and really study it and really look at it, and then consider, and you will find out that we live in a world which is designed to be acidic. Nobody talks about it. Let me show you more. Well, if you have listened to some of my shows, you have heard talking about reverse osmosis water filter system, which for me is the devil. And it's the most sold, used water filtering system in the world. And I will encourage you to watch my other shows where I talk about it, explain to you why it's for me the devil. Okay. And one reason is that all the reverse osmosis water is in principle between 6.5 and 4.5 in pH, which means this system is designed that you will drink permanently too acidic water. Minimum of 6.5, most cases 5.55, and even I saw as low as 4.5. I was called to a friend of mine who had cancer in the last stage. And I was basically the last person he called for help, as all the regular doctors he already went through and different locations in Europe where the healing wonders of cancer were publicized. And the first thing I tested when I came to his house was the water. And yes, he had a reverse osmosis water system, and he had 4.5, 1,000 times too acidic. That's about the worst I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not testing every person in this world. There may be others, or even lower than that. And I asked him, please disconnect immediately your reverse osmosis water system. And I said, I checked him out, his apartment, his house. He had a full exposure to electromagnetic radiation, 4G at this time. 5G was not around yet. And he was running around for years with a cell phone unprotected. And I warned him for years, don't do that. He wouldn't listen. He refused to do something to control the electromagnetic radiation in his house. He refused to disconnect reverse osmosis water and change the water. And 2-3 months later, he was dead. Couldn't help him, unfortunately. Now see again in an overview. You see reverse osmosis at the top, 6.0. You see it at the bottom 5, and it goes down as right at 4.5. That's very unfortunate, but that's the situation. So this is why I'm against reverse osmosis water. Now what happens? If you drink reverse osmosis water, or even take showers and bath in them, let's say you drink a day what you should do, 2/3 of a gallon of water. And let's say this is all reverse osmosis water. No way in the world can you compensate by food or healthy water this amount of acidic, low pH water. You will stay acidic, too acidic. Now, the human body has a self-controlling mechanism because the blood got to stay at 7.34. If the blood would turn into 8 or 8.5 or 6, you would most likely die. So the blood must be 7.34. If you ever test your blood, you will see it's basically always 7.34, 5, whatever, around there. So by drinking that water, you will, from the start, without doing anything else wrong, you will sabotage your body. And this is why I'm strongly against it. You will sabotage your body right from the get-go without doing anything else wrong. Usually people do other things wrong as well, but only this will be enough to harm your body to a level which is out of control. Now, I've done as well other drinks, and I give you here quickly some few ones. Coffee is 5.3, is 100 times too acidic. Beer is 4.4. It's 1,000 times too acidic. Red wine, 3.6, 10,000 times too acidic. Orange juice, 3.5, 10,000 times too acidic. Red Bull, 3.2, 10,000 times too acidic. Coca-Cola, 2.4, 100,000 times too acidic. Now, these are measurements I took. If you take them, they should be the same. They may slightly differ, but not big time. They are basically the same. And again, this list you can download from my website, and you can look at it and hopefully work with it. Now, as our body is not supposed to be too acidic, but balanced, it's different with the skin. The skin is a defensive factor to our body, and the skin should have a pH of 5.5. Now, what we would do, we have a lot of soaps. They're all alkaline usually. And the alkaline soaps kill the defense structure of the skin, which should be pH 5.5. And I'm not particularly pointing out this company. I just found them among others. There are companies who are specialized to create body lotions, soaps, shampoos, and so on, which have a pH of 5.5 to support this natural defense, which is called your skin. Okay, then I'll be asked all the time, well, how do you test it? Well, I have here a device in which I test liquids, right? Digitally testing liquids. I only need 2 drops, 1 drop of a liquid, whether it's blood or urine or it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you need just 1-2 drops. And this is a device where you can test solids like meats, vegetables, whatever it is, fruits. You can test them. What's their pH, right? And I'm not selling these products, but I'm always asked about them. So this is where you can find them, where you can buy them. I don't sell them. And please, if you're serious and you want to test pH, do not use these stupid paper strips. Do not use them. They are not accurate enough. They are misleading. I worked with them for a long, long time, unfortunately, until I find these 2 measurements devices, and the list you see, which I showed to you, are done with these devices. And I was very happy when I came across these products because it made my research much more solid. All right, this is a crash course on pH. And I have a separate show on my website on the archive under pH, where I only talk about pH. How do we defend ourselves against that enemy, the bad too acidic pH? Well, first of all, like always, you have to change your mindset. I understand that you may not be aware of what I just said. Hopefully you were not aware, and now you learn, hopefully. Or you gotta first find out what I'm saying, does it make sense? Rethink the chart I showed you, use it. And it ends up always. Change your mindset, change your lifestyle. Get out of your comfort zone of what you believe is true or what works for you, and get under a stronger self-control. Because it comes all to addiction, it comes all to a lot of things. Because all these drinks you saw there, the beer and the Cokes and whatever it is, it's very addictive and it's very sexy, it's very good tasting. To live healthy and drink water all day long, 7.5, it's not sexy, it's not rock and roll. You can consider it boring. Try to find your entertainment in more healthy areas of life. Culture, art, your mental stability, everywhere, but be aware of these drinks. Now, if you drink once a week a beer, don't care about it. Maybe if you drink once a day a beer, okay. If you drink the rest of the day, 1 gallon of water, 7.5 pH, okay. But you got to be very precise. If you commit a sin, commit it, and then walk away and be better, okay? So, and please watch my webinar on water, where I talk about these things intensively. On my website, in my archive webinar, you'll find all about water 1, all about water 2. Please watch those shows. I talk longer about these topics. Good. That was enemy number 10. Now let's move over to enemy number 11, which is toxification. We're all too toxic. I mean, this world is full of crap. The soil, the air, the water. Now we have microplastics in the air, in the water, in the food, chemicals left and right, Monsanto, health food products, bioproducts, organic products. Even those are hit and they're questionable. So toxification is the big issue we have, which we have to look into, enemy number 11. Most people are overloaded with toxins, which accumulated in our body over time and every day. As you brush your teeth twice a day to keep them in shape, right? You got to basically detox every day, because every day you pull in new chemicals. You go out in the streets, you breathe the air, even in your own apartment. And there's an essential thing which you may consider. The healthcare products we'll take, such as shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, household cleaners, detergents, dishwashing liquid, deodorant, they're all, the vast majority, they're all filled with chemicals, toxic material. And we rub them in our skin, in our hair, in our teeth, in our gums. These are all toxic materials. Now, there was a doctor here in America who died some years ago, very interesting, and he came up with this theory, which I completely support. He said, look, every product has a time period it lasts in our body. So if you take a chemical today and nothing else, it will last a certain amount of time till it flushes out, till it's gone. And now all these, what I just named, the toothpaste, household cleaners, and so on, deodorant, detergents, they are not highly toxic, highly toxic, but they're toxic. The amount is small, but as you use them every day, all over the time, every month, every year, year to year, you build up a toxic level. He considered 80% in your body is toxic level only of these products. They don't stay long, but as you replace them every day with new input, they're permanently 80% of all the toxins in your body. And the rest 20% are then the other heavy ones. So you could improve drastically your life if you would move away from those. What I did, I'll give you an example, toothpaste, I looked around and I looked which toothpaste has no chemicals, which is completely natural. And we decided on this, and this is in our household since. The same for the soap, for the household cleaners, detergents, shampoo, and so on. I looked at every category for the best product I could find. And this best product is in our household. So we wanted to get rid of these 80% permanently toxins in our body and reduce it, these 80%, towards zero. While other things, of course, if I step out in the street, I breathe in the air. We pull them in. So you have to detoxify yourself. Now be careful that you don't do this too fast. When I see, for example, advertising of products, detoxification in 3 days and 8 days and so on, 20 days, it makes me mad. Because if you ever have a detox and you would try to get rid of this in 3 or 8 or 10 days, besides, I doubt it you can, but if you would try to, your body may be overloaded with the toxins, especially the liver, on the way out. And you may get serious health problems. Now, I'll give you an example. I was working and living in China for a long, long time, till I decided a few years back, China, bye-bye, never again, not with me. Various reasons. Now, for me, every person who lives in China, basically every person who lives in China, is after 1 to 3 weeks being there, working there, vacation, whatever, has truckloads of toxins in his body. Truckloads. Now, when I finally decided to leave China, it took me almost 2 years to detox. I detox slowly, made checkup again, got the results, detox. 1.5 years or so, whatever. It was forever. So be careful. You got to detox, but on the right gradient. Don't do it too fast, which includes, of course, parasites. Okay. So consequently, I came out with a product which is called Human Protect. Human Protect is a product which, according to BISA, I don't make that medical claims. I cannot make medical claims. The BISA Institute has tested it. The tests are on my website. What the product does. Amazing things. And I have to be very careful, as some channels blocking me because I say things which are not according to the World Health Organization. And then they take this as an excuse to cut you off. You get what I mean, I hope you get what I mean, okay? So, of course, the BISA Institute has certified my product, which you can see on my website as well. And here you find the certificates. All the certificates are all on the website. You don't need to believe me. Read them. And there are some amazing tests being done. All right, good. So, in consequence, I created a product as well called Food Protect, because I was completely aware that the food we're eating is not healthy anymore. There are too many substances, chemicals, toxic materials in our food nowadays. And even if you have people who create good, healthy food, they cannot protect themselves from chemtrails and from bad water. They all use bad water. Don't forget that basically every farm uses bad water, and every food producer, even if it's organic food producer, they all use bad water. And every restaurant which has alternative, healthy, veggie food, and so on and so forth, they use all bad water. It's perverted, but that's the way it is. And if you go to my water show, you can listen to this, right? So I created this Food Protect, which looks like this. And I have it in my home, in the kitchen, and I have it on my keychain when I go to a restaurant, when I eat outside. I'm covered. So what does it do? If you put it in your kitchen, anywhere in the kitchen, it covers 10 meters or 30 feet in radius. So when you come home with the food you bought and the beverages, as soon as you reach 10 meters, this product, all negative frequencies are harmonized, are nullified. And the BISA Institute has done only on this product 300 pages of testings and research and qualifications and certification, which was amazing to me. Lots of money, but it needed to be done. I need to be sure that my products work, and nobody has to believe me. If you believe me, that's nice, but I wanted to assure people that's the way it works, and they're the scientific tests. They're there, okay? And here I give you now an example how such a test, what does a test look like? And I want you to be aware, if you have it in your kitchen, it works into the freezer and into the fridge. Why? It's based on quantum physics. And quantum physics knows no time and no walls. Quantum physics doesn't say, oh, this is a fridge that's too thick, I cannot get in there. It works, okay? So in this case here, which I cherry-picked because it was so very strange for me, but then again, they took a package of pasta in the store, Italian pasta, wherever the pasta was from. It's not important. Could be anywhere. So they took this pasta and they tested the pasta on this person. And what you see now is a test, and I have to quickly hand translate it. The English version is being done in the next days and uploaded of what you see now. The German version is there. So they tested the pasta on the person. And the pasta was so bad that the person immediately went into a problematic area. So I read to you here, everything which is in blue is degenerative, means ill, sick. They tested the lungs, intestines, the stomach, pancreas, your bladder, and so on. And it shows all blue, bad, bad, bad. Gallbladder, liver, kidneys, lymph system, and so on, your heart, and it all tested bad. And again, the English version comes up in a few days on my website. Okay, then they put my product, SD2, they put the SD2 next to these pasta and tested the person again. Would it make a difference? And that was the interesting part, of course. By no surprise, it made a difference, and everything which was blue before now turned into green. Lung, stomach, pancreas, bladder, gallbladder, kidneys, lymph system, heart. Everything which was blue before, degenerative, now turned into green, which means healthy. So which was to prove that my product nullified these negative frequencies in the food. So that's the target. We nullify negative frequency with the technology I have, Protect Pro technology. You can see on my website a write-up under the button Protect Pro technology where I explain you a bit what I'm doing. Not everything, but I explain you a lot. And it's all based on quantum physics. You only can do this in quantum physics. You cannot do this in the regular world. Okay. And like always, the Bisa Institute gave me the certification. And this is the title page of such a test. And it's very interesting to see how this is done and what the results are. And again, you can find these certificates on my website. Okay, this what had to be done. Now what had to be said. Now what I encourage you to do, I found this product here. I'm not selling it, okay? I'm not selling these products, but I came across the cleansing. This is not detoxing your body. It's the cleansing of the intestine. And I did it. I did several over the years, different companies and so on. I came across this lately. It's a 3-day cleansing. And I can only say it gave me incredible results. And as I said, we have to permanently detox ourselves. We cannot do this only once in the blue moon, because every day we're going to add up these products in our body, which are counter survival. So I encourage everyone to do a cleansing program regularly, not every week, but like this program here, I'd say 2-3 times a year. And there are others out there. I'm not particularly pushing this product here. I have no interest. The people don't know me. I don't know the people. I just came across it and I used it. And I want to point it out that you have to do a cleansing. No matter your lifestyle, you have to do the cleansing. So that was our topic number 11, toxification. So how do we defend ourselves from toxification? Well, same thing. Change your lifestyle. Sorry, get out of the comfort zone. The products you eat, make sure your body can digest them. Make sure they are not toxic. My product helps you with this. Maybe other products do. It doesn't matter. Whatever works. And you have to do a liver detoxification once in a while. Yes. And it's amazing when you do a liver detoxification, what you see coming out, which is then gathered in your toilet bowl. And a lot is coming out, which is sitting in your body, I promise you. Of course, healthy water. Nothing goes in this world without healthy water. Nothing goes without protecting yourself from electromagnetic radiation. Nothing. And nothing goes with you changing, improving your lifestyle. Get out of the comfort zone. Be not too lazy. Work on these things, okay? All right, which leads us to enemy number 12. Enemy number 12 is poor sleep. Yes, your poor sleep is your enemy in health, no question, because without good sleep, you cannot be healthy, and it can beaten you up. I know some people who are suffering big time. Okay, so there is a condition where we all have been, where we suffer because our sleep at nighttime is just not the best. So this is what typically such a situation looks like. Does that look a bit familiar to you? Or somebody who sleeps next to you? Yes, that's bad sleep. And you need your sleep because at daytime, the body works on self-defense, which means the body is strong, the body is active, the body fights, the body is on a high level of action. At nighttime, the body should relax, recover, rejuvenate, and reload your batteries for the next day. But most of us cannot do that. Well, let's say not most, at least not many can do it because their body is not having enough sleep. And we have to improve that situation. So how do we defend ourselves against bad sleep? Well, I have given a webinar not so long ago, 2 parts. The 17 possible causes for your bad sleep, part 1. The 17 possible causes for your bad sleep, part 2. Those of you who have not seen that yet, I'll encourage you to watch these shows. Here I laid out very intensively, over a long time period, it was not short, the different reasons why people, the 17 possible causes why people may have a bad sleep. And you may want to look into this. So to defend yourself against enemy number 12, poor sleep, please watch these webinars. I cannot repeat it here now. It's just too long. It makes no sense. This is a bullet point list, and bad sleep is on a bullet point list. And again, I have a webinar only about bad sleep. I have a webinar only about water. So these cover totally these subjects, okay? This is a bullet point list to remind you, yes, bad sleep is one of them, okay? Good, which brings us to enemy number 13, which is the poor performance of the glands. A subject hardly ever been discussed with a doctor or doctor discusses with you. It's the poor performance of glands. Now, we have various glands in our body. Here are some of them. And I am concentrating myself here on these three: thymus, thyroid, and pineal gland. These are the three I'm concentrating on. Now, over the years, when I give my seminars worldwide, I tested people because I always said that our glands are not functioning full-time anymore. And I tested people in kinesiology in my workshops, in my seminars, and I can say that easily 95% didn't pass the test. Easily. And what are the reasons that these glands are not functioning well? Well, the main causes are stress, like so many things in our life. And I will make a separate show that stress is the only reason you can become sick. The poisoning we are confronted with, too acidic, electromagnetic radiation, again, poor water, again, and the calcification of these glands. These bring their functions down. They're not functioning as good as they should. Now, the thymus gland is one of them. It sits here in your rib cage, behind your rib cage. The thyroid gland and the pineal gland. These are the three guys you were talking about, and which I'm looking up all the time. And I have a friend of mine, a doctor, Scott Dementi, and I have asked him whether he could execute a test for me to test a patient, a person, to see how the glands are functioning or not. And I gave this doctor my product, which had a different name at this time. I renamed it. It's now called Gland Energy. It was called Basic Health before. And I gave him that product and I asked him, do me a favor, test this product on his patients. And I'm wearing it 24/7 every day. Every day. And all the people I know every day. And at nighttime, I'll strip it off and put it right next to my pillow in bed. In the morning, I get up, I put it on. I shower with it. I walk with it. I swim with it. I have it on 24/7. So I asked him, do me a favor, test this on a person. And here is what he did.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Scott Dementi. Today I'm here with Anna, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing about 3 or 4 different primary systems in her body to see how they are doing. Because as you all know, we are hit every day with stresses in our life, whether it's personal stresses or environmental stresses. So I'm going to be testing these 4 areas of her body to see, are they strong or are they weak, which means she could need help with these systems. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to test her arm to make sure she's strong. And she is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go first to the pineal gland. And she's weak. Now, the thyroid gland. Also weak. Lastly, her thymus gland. Good. And actually I'm going to give you one more, the heart. Also weak. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this device called the IPC Basic Health. And I'm going to place it on her body. And I'm going to see if this helps to strengthen these areas that were just once weak. So I'm going to go back to the pineal. Strong. Thyroid. Strong also. Thymus gland. Strong. And lastly, the heart. Strong. So you see, people, this device right here helps to make these areas that were weak on her body strong. So imagine if you had one of these devices on your body every day, what it could do for you, especially with all the environmental stresses that we are hit with day in and day out.
All right. Now, to make this clear, this device does not fix the problems why these glands are not working well. Higher environmental and all what I said before and so on, pH and no. But we deliver additional energy to those glands. So in spite being attacked by all these problems, we give them more energy so they can counter the attacks and still work on a better, higher level, while you should try to eliminate the causes these glands don't work well. Now, the pineal gland is not yet fully understood for most people. We know it produces various hormones. We know it produces melatonin for the sleep hormone. It regulates female hormones, menstrual cycles. It protects against cardiovascular problems. It regulates a lot in your body, including high blood pressure. And now what's very unusual for people to hear is the pineal gland is responsible for your mental stability, And to my observation, 4G and 5G electromagnetic radiation attack the pineal gland. And there's an interesting guy in England, Dr. Barry Trower. He talks about reactions 4G and 5G have on people to misjudge situation, to make wrong decisions. Yes, you heard rightly. People make wrong decisions being attacked by 4G and 5G frequency. And I connected to the pineal gland. The pineal gland has a huge importance. We're going to make a separate show on this, okay? We make a separate show on this for the pineal gland. Okay, on my website, you can see, again, this product, Lens Energy. You can read about it. And again, the test by the Bisa Institute is there as well. Okay? Good. So what are we going to do now about this? How do we defend ourselves from enemy 13? Well, we have to change our lifestyle. Sorry, the same. We have to detox. We have to drink healthy water, protect ourselves from electromagnetic radiation. We're too acidic, and we have to bring on the body temperature. The body temperature. We'll talk about this in a minute, and I will make a future seminar only covering the glands and everything you have to know about it. From my point, the practical knowledge, what you can do about this, okay? So that was enemy number 13. Enemy number 14 is the chronic low body temperature. Again, an interesting subject, because for years I was claiming in my seminars that many people have chronically a low body temperature, not 98.6. Now, why is this important? Well, you have to understand is that the body's functions are all based on a body temperature of 98.6 or 37 degrees Celsius, okay? That's basic, that's what it is. So having not 98.6, but less chronically, not one day at a time, chronically, means that all or more or less all your body functions are not working properly because your body needs 98.6 as an operating temperature. Interesting for me, I kept saying this for several years. Hardly everybody listened. Now, when this corona crap came up, people were measured the body temperature left and right. And I had my biggest research in my life, which I could have never done by myself. So I went typically to people looking, standing at the entrance of some institutions, restaurants, churches, offices, whatever, testing every person, what's their body temperature, right? So in a few places, when there was nobody around, I went up to these people who made the test and said, hey, I'm working in the alternative medical field, help me out here. To my observation, to my opinion, the majority of people you tested didn't have 98.6. Hardly anybody had fever. Majority had below 98.6, and hardly anybody had 98.6. What is your findings? And they're all confirmed to me. Everyone I asked, oh, 98.6? Nobody. They have all low body temperature. I said, how much? How many? What's the percentage? I said, oh, nearly 100%, 95, 100% had low body temperature. And this is what I'm saying for a long, long time. And I'm happy. A good thing about Corona, it gave me assurance, a quick research, which I saved my time and my money to do it on my own. And no doctor checks you whether you have a low body temperature. If you have fever, everybody goes crazy. But no doctor checks you of low body temperature. Hypothermia. Nobody does that. Because why? The majority of doctors are just a scandal. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't check whether you drink healthy water. They don't check you have electromagnetic radiation exposure. They don't check your food, the misfunction of the glands. And so the body temperature being chronically low has an effect on the functions of your glands. And you got to bring the body temperature up to get your body functions of the glands. And you have to detox. And all these things, healthy water, stay away from electromagnetic radiation, all these things help you to get your body temperature right. So how can I increase my body temperature? By improving the thyroid function, all the glands. Some people use an infrared mat to lay on the infrared mat to get the body temperature up. Now be careful. The infrared mat has an electrical plug and it creates electromagnetic radiation. So while you bring your body temperature up, you sabotage your body with electromagnetic radiation. You have to change the diet. We'll talk about this in a second. You have to change your balance, pH balance, electromagnetic radiation. You have to detox. You have to drink healthy water. It repeats. You got to get more oxygen in your body. There are these cheap, easy devices you put on your finger to test your oxygen level in your body. And most people have a too low oxygen level, which should be hopefully between 97 and 100. My wife is always 100. She amazes me. Maybe because she feels my love, but I never have 100. I'm happy 97, 96, 98. So it shouldn't be lower than 95, 94. A question of opinion, but you can check your oxygen level. Okay. You got to get more iodine in your body, more selenium, more amino acid. You can look at the chart. We make a separate show only about this. We talk about this. There are problems, there are products which create problems to your thyroids. And the products which create problems to your thyroids is soy, gluten, and all cruciferous vegetables. Which means if you have a low body temperature chronically, you may look into these foods and leave them aside and see how it works. Now, what are cruciferous vegetables? You're listed them for you. Chinese cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, radish, red cabbage, among others. And these vegetables you should stay away from, especially if you have chronically low body temperature and you want to bring it up. Then avoid these foods, at least for a while, and see how you're doing. Like everything on a low level of gradation. So what are the defense now for our enemy number 14, the chronic low body temperature? What is our defense? Defense is we have to bring up the glands, the functions. Again, same thing, change your lifestyle, watch your foods, drink healthy water, avoid electromagnetic radiation, and my products SD1 for body, SD2 for food, and like the SD5 for electromagnetic radiation, these products help you to support your body in this trip to your health. All right? Then let's move on to enemy number 15. Enemy number 15 is the problem with teeth. the problem with teeth. Now, teeth have much more than a problem for the teeth themselves. To my opinion, you will be not healthy if your teeth are not in a great condition. The health of the teeth determines the health of the entire body to a big extent. Now, I suggest to you to go at least once a year, even if you don't have a toothache, to a doctor, to a dentist, and let him check whether you at night times you're grinding your teeth, even if you may be not aware of it, or your wife next to you doesn't tell you or doesn't know. The doctor can tell you, the dentist, whether you're grinding your teeth. He will check you. Please ask him whether you have a dead tooth. Any dead tooth must be pulled. Sorry, no other choice. No other choice. And I'm the person who says, try to maintain your teeth to the best you can. But a dead tooth must be pulled. Root canal fillings. Sorry, my opinion is that all teeth with a root canal filling have to be pulled. The root canal filling will lead, to my opinion, to illness. No other way possible, because bacteria grows in the root canal. Friends of mine, dentists, tried over years to stop it with oxygen, the growth of the bacteria. It worked for a short amount of time, but not for long, so they gave it up. The doctor will check whether you have metal fillings. Metal fillings in your teeth are big time bad, and especially when it comes to amalgam. And I must say, for me, these are all criminals who still nowadays, after it's known that amalgam is bad, still put amalgam in the teeth. I learned 40 years ago that amalgam is bad. There was a book by an American doctor written in 1929 where he already talked about how bad amalgam is, right? And he warned people. People didn't listen. Doctors didn't listen. I mean, you got to know that in amalgam is a high concentration of mercury. Mercury is very, very poisoning.
This is mercury coming off a filling that was dipped in water that was the same temperature as the human body. This is a filling that was rubbed with a pencil eraser for just a few seconds, like going to the hygienist and having her clean your teeth. These are not small amounts of mercury. If you can see it, it's more than 100 times higher than the EPA will allow the air that we breathe. How about the last time you went to the dentist and they drilled on your tooth? Here's the temperature every time you immersed it in 110-degree coffee, or hot tea, or chewed on it. Mercury comes off fillings every time you stimulate them. And that stimulation causes the mercury to continue to leak out of the fillings for an hour and a half, at a minimum. Some people grind their teeth. Some people chew gum. You might send a gold crown to the dental laboratory to be welded. How about the dental personnel? They're not given informed consent.
And this mercury typically going to be sitting, in most cases, in your cells, and especially in the brain. To my personal opinion, I dare to say that the majority of people who have Parkinson may have had mercury amalgam in their teeth. And my eldest brother was one of them. He had amalgam in his teeth and he developed Parkinson. Okay, so this is the problem with the teeth. The metal filling must go out. And 40 years ago, I took the metal filling out of my teeth. My personal opinion is that every metal in your body, piercing, earrings, in the teeth, and so on and so forth, is bad for your health. Every metal in your body. It screws up your own natural electromagnetic field and your magnetism. It screws it up. So besides this, well, I took it out and I replaced it by gold. Stupid me. Then I learned a few years later, well, gold is a metal. You shouldn't have metal in your body. So I took all the gold out again. I did it twice. So I went through a learning curve. Most of the things I'm talking about in my webinars and seminars, I've been there. I'm not talking from the ivory tower. Nearly everything I experienced myself, on me, or I made tests on me, or a person next to me. Very little points I'll discuss about which I didn't experience myself. So, and the metal in the teeth was definitely one of them. Now, on top of that, every tooth is connected with an organ and functions in your body. Every tooth is connected with a function in your body. Look at this chart here. I hope you can kind of see it. And if not, it's on my website to be seen. So there's a relationship between teeth and body organs. Take the top right, which is easy to read, lung, large intestines. The white one on the top right, like 2 o'clock, okay? And so these two teeth are connected to lung and large intestine. So if one of these two teeth or both have a problem, I can guarantee you your lung, your large intestines have a problem. And vice versa, if your lung intestines have a problem, these two teeth may hurt or may get into a problem or an infection. A good dentist, and I repeat, a good dentist knows that every tooth is related to organs. And I'll give you a quick story of my life. One of the times when I stepped into alternative medicine, I was at the age of 10. My eldest brother was 18 at that time, and he was a soccer star. He was just incredible. He was the best soccer player I personally experienced in my life, okay? And one day, my brother had to go to hospital. He couldn't move his leg. One leg he couldn't move. I can't remember if it was the right or left. He couldn't move the leg. And he went to hospital. They found nothing. And I vividly remember the day I visited him with my parents in the hospital to see how he was doing, like a daily visit. And there came in a bunch of doctors for the daily routine visit. They looked at his charts and they didn't know what to do. And this time was what I call today a colored man in the team. At this time in Germany, there were no colored people, hardly any. And this colored man looked at the charts, and I say colored as a 10-year-old boy at this time, whether he was Middle East or Indian or whatever, I have no idea. He was colored. And this man said, oh, guys, he has no problem with his leg. He has a problem with his tooth. There's a tooth which creates the problem. You got to go to a dentist. And my father, who was a very beautiful, nice guy, very simple, he said, okay. He grabbed my brother, put him in the car, called his bowling colleague and says, hey, he was a dentist. Can I quickly come with Klaus over to your place? We got to check him out. Yeah, sure, come over. So we went to the practice. He checked him out, and guess what? He had a dead tooth. The doctor pulled the dead tooth, and 2 days later, my brother was playing soccer. Pretty professional soccer player. And he played soccer again. And this is to show you again how the teeth are related to the body. If I would have a doctor's practice, I can tell you, I would not accept the patient if he doesn't bring me a latest checkup from the dentist about his basic situation, which a dentist can check in 5 minutes. Grinding, is there a dead tooth? Okay. You can check this immediately. Are there metal fillings? So a dentist will check if a dentist can tell you whether you brush your teeth with your right hand or with your left hand. So a dentist in no time will write, boom, 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 this is okay, here's the problem. And me as a medical doctor, I would not accept the patient before he doesn't fix his teeth. Why would I try to fix him if the teeth are not okay? Because I know it will sabotage the entire body. All right, about the teeth, enemy 15. So what's the defense now for the problem teeth as your enemy, possible enemy? Very easy. At least once a year, a 5-minute checkup by a dentist. And if he finds something of what we just discussed, and I have a separate show where we talk about bad sleep, and watch the show about bad sleep where I talk about dentist and snoring, which a dentist is partially responsible as well for to help you. That was number 15. We're coming close to the finish line. Enemy 16. Enemy 16. Lack of exercise. Sounds very simple, right? Lack of exercise. All right. Our body is structured to move, to work physically. Our body is designed that we move it, that we challenge it. And we're all too lazy, and I include myself there, without any reservation. We don't move enough our body. Sports, at work, in the garden, in the household, whatever it is. The body needs movement, needs challenging. And when you're 80 years old, you don't need to run a marathon. If you want to, sure. But to take decent walk and to work in the garden and whatever is appropriate for your age, do it. You got to move your body. And most of us don't do sports activities. That's an enemy. Because working at the morning, waking up, going to the office, coming back, laying on the couch, watching TV, going to bed, that doesn't cut it. Sorry, it doesn't cut it. So what's the self-defense against this enemy? Well, comes again to lifestyle. You have to question your lifestyle. You have to confront your laziness. You have to get out of the comfort zone you're living in. If you don't change your comfort zone, don't come to my webinars. The basic bottom line is always, to the most part, that we have to change our lifestyle and our comfort zone. We can only extend our experience in life and our success and our happiness if we extend our comfort zone. Only behind the comfort zone comes a better life, not if we stay in our comfort zone. Okay? That's my take on it. Good. Then let's move to enemy 17, which is another cool topic. Drug intake. Drug intake. That's another topic. Now, frankly, every one of my listeners and people who watch this show or are related to me in business or as a friendship, which is going together all the time, there's not a big separation between my business and friendship with my customers and people who ask me for advice. I have regularly every day average 50 emails and 50 phone calls, which I have to I feel obliged to try to help people as good as I can without giving medical advice, because I'm not a doctor, but I'm a life coach. So when we talk about drug intake, I take it that all you listeners out there hopefully don't have a problem with what we call hard drugs. Heroin, LSD, whatever these modern fashion drugs are. Sometimes I hear the names, but I don't know them. Okay. I guess you don't have a problem with this. If you have a problem with this, we got to talk separately by email. But I'm not talking about now hard drugs. This is obviously, if you take hard drugs, sorry, what do you expect your health to go up or down? There's no question, right? But there are many legal drugs. And all these legal drugs disrupt your health and are largely addictive. What are legal drugs? Well, of course, we have these pharmaceutical products. These are legal drugs. Basically, most of them all toxic. And when they give them the information, the counter indications of, when they give the counter indications of drugs, they talk about this specific drug. But you people, I see, take up to 5, 10 different pharmaceutical products per day. I see up to 20 per day. Now, product A has negative effects, possibly. Product B has negative effects, possibly. And they list them. But they never tested how do these two interfere with each other. Never. Nobody does that. Nobody ever does that, and nobody will ever do it. It's got to be a catastrophe. You take 5 different drugs, and they're interacting with each other in a negative way, which is out of our imagination. So pharmaceutical products are legal drugs. But I go that far that I say, I will do a separate show on it, I said it a few times, that sugar and coffee are the biggest legal drugs in this world, with no question in my mind. Sugar and coffee are the biggest legal drugs in this world. They are a drug. And in the show I will explain it. And I will substantiate it. And all these fizzy drinks, they're drugs. People get used to Red Bull and Coca-Cola and other drinks and alcohol. They work as drugs. Well, so what does that mean? A drug, to my definition, that's my personal opinion and my personal definition, a drug is everything which you consume, and you cannot freely say no to it. That can be coffee, that can be beer, that can be sweets. Sweets can be a drug. It works the same pattern like LSD, right? It works the same way. However, LSD is more toxic. We know that. But the mechanism is the same. You are depending on sugar, on sweets, for example. Now, if you look at your life now, look in the mirror, and you may find that you are consuming products very repetitive, and you can't live without them. I have people who tell me, coffee, I got to have my coffee in the morning. Without a coffee, I'm not a person. I can't function. And coffee makes me think better. Ooh, what a bullshit. Coffee makes me think better. So I need the coffee in the morning. And they have all kinds of justifications. And in the past, when smoking was more around, I could clearly see that everybody who was smoking was more or less a coffee drinker as well. That kind of worked hand in hand. So people say, I need the coffee in the morning. Otherwise I can't work. And I need 1 or 2 in the day. I need another one in the afternoon. Otherwise I can't function. It's a drug, guaranteed. Or people say in the morning, first thing, I need an orange juice before breakfast. It's a drug for them. I can guarantee you this. So far, I never found a person whom I tested in kinesiology who can digest orange juice. Sorry, my opinion is nobody. Orange juice is bad for everyone I tested so far. And I tested a lot privately and in my seminars. I provoke them. If you think you can digest orange juice, come here. Let's test it. So everything is a drug for you, which you are depending on. And I have a very simple thing. When I consult people, I have them write down every day their food and drink intake for 2 or 3 weeks. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, I look at their list and I see the repetitiveness of certain products they drink and they eat. And it comes basically to the point where you can see just by the list what are their drugs they cannot live without. I've never met a person who says, I need in the morning a garden fresh salad, otherwise I'm not functioning. Never. That's the thing. So a drug, please, from today on, if you accept my definition, a drug for you is a product which you cannot live without. The idea to give it up doesn't work. Or to say it from today on, no more. And then you see that you are going on to a withdrawal there. A drug for you is a product you cannot do without voluntarily. I've seen only people changing when they were threatened by cancer or any other diseases, where they were willing to give it up. I'll do a separate show on this, and I have some interesting stories, which are stories of my life and how I came across what I'm doing today. I ended up doing today because of some of these stories. Okay, that's enemy number 17. Now we come to the encore. The show was called The 17 Enemies to Your Health, right? And I was lying to you. There are 18. Because after I've done that, I've noted that I forgot one. And I may have more I forgot. If you find I forgot some others, please send me an email, let me know. In my next presentations, I will add them, okay? But really, these 17, okay? So enemy number 18 is a new enemy. You may be surprised. Okay, you'll be surprised. How is the media an enemy to your health? Good. So, very simple. I basically stopped reading newspapers some 20, 25 years ago, and I basically stopped watching TV some 20 years ago. And I haven't done that lately, but I can guarantee you if I would do it today again, I will find misinformation, bad information, wrong information being published in the papers and media every day about health. What is healthy, what is not healthy. There's so much wrong information and so much misleading information and so many industries behind these information who want to make their money. It's crazy. You get blocked on YouTube if you speak out certain things which you believe is true because it doesn't correspond with the idea of the World Health Organization. If it doesn't go conform with the World Health Organization, YouTube will block you. They don't want that to be published. Free speech? Forget it. Forget it. Forget it. I know dozens of people who have been banned from YouTube because they were not allowed to do free speech. So the media is your enemy. Don't forget this. When you go out and you study, you read, and you listen, radio, newspapers, try to look behind what they're saying. What is their motivation? Who pays for that? Who has an interest in that? Health is not in the interest of our society who runs the society, not even the government. The government gives a crap. The big industry doesn't give a crap. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell cell phones the way they are. Similar like the cigarette industry used to be. They don't care. They make money. It's about money and controlling, nothing else. People who work on the level of ethics and aesthetics are very small percentage. And they're usually smaller companies. Okay. So having said that, we did our 18 enemies, and I want to make finally now, the last shot, a rundown as a reminder, as a bullet list of the 17 or 18 possibly enemies to your health. The first one was you yourself in the first show. Your doctor can be one of them. bad frequencies, questionable vaccinations, electromagnetic radiation, quality of the air we breathe, poor water, poor nutrition, lack of daylight. Number 10 was pH too acidic. Number 11, toxification. Number 12, poor sleep. 13, poor performance of glands. 14, chronic low body temperature. 15, problems with teeth. 16, lack of exercise. 17, drug intake. 18, the media. These are your possible enemies. If you find more, please send me an email. But I guess this covers a lot. Okay? This covers a lot. And the summary of the day, every single one of these points is problematic. But it's all about accumulation. So if you would have just one issue of 18, okay, maybe bad enough. But most likely, most of us have several of these 18 points. And these several, the addition, the accumulation, creates the big health problem. We have to change our attitude. We have to change our lifestyle. We have to learn more about everything. And we have to leave our comfort zone behind. We have to ask the right question, and we have to see who can truly help us. Guys, in love and gratitude, I greet you. I appreciate you. Look on my website, where always the next show will be announced. Look on my website on the webinar, where always the latest shows are there for you to look at them, to study them, to watch them again. Please send people my way. Please bring more people to the webinars. I want the knowledge to go out. My target is to contribute to a better world.